Alrighty, well, hello everybody. Welcome at absolutely no notice whatsoever to Mental Health Thursdays here on the Junk Shop Library channel. A new series that we're just starting to get off the ground. This will be episode 3 of Mental Health Thursdays. Right off the bat, I should say that this is probably going to fall under the content not designed for children label of YouTube. If you are a minor, this is some pretty not minor friendly stuff. So you probably better find your entertainment or your mental health content someplace else. I see people rolling in. We got Julie LaVoice, of course. Welcome, my darling. Critical Cripple Dave is in the house. Mark Caesar is here. Godless Sewing is here. Wow, people, y'all must be on my Discord. It's the only place notifications reliably go out. All right. Well, as I mentioned last week, I've got a new way of determining topic for Mental Health Thursday, and that's that my amazing patrons get to vote on it. Hey, Math Pig, speaking of amazing patrons. Now, I have not checked the poll since yesterday, so we're about to have a live determination of topic. Hello, Wonder Lady. Faye, good evening to you. I just got to pop over here into this other tab. I think I know what's winning. Or rather, I know what was winning yesterday. I just got to go and double me check. Let us see here. Come on, cursor, do what I ask of you. Dooply 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 doo. This was not well thought out, and I should have checked this beforehand rather than try to do it live. View poll. All right. Well, the consensus is living with hallucinations, with some feedback that kind of spirals into that. So we'll see how that goes. There is a poll, Math Pit. Yeah. This is going to be a relatively short episode for a couple of reasons. One, Thursday nights are busy on the online community. We've got Secular Sexuality coming up at 7. We've got Brainbug's stream featuring R and Raw at 8 Central Time, which I strongly encourage anyone in a sane time zone to catch, because that's quite a coup on the part of our dear friend in the Hive. And then Knock over on The Rage is going live at the top of the hour. So I'm going to try to talk about some heavy mental health topics and then get out before my angry friend goes live over there. I don't want to conflict with him. Okay, so the topic is living with hallucinations. That's quite a range of topic. Oh, and Math Pig's doing the pre-party for Brainbug. My friend, I completely forgot about that. What time is that? I saw the notification, but I got it like 2 days ago, which was weird. I hope I'm not stomping on your toes right here and right now. Ah, got the link. Okay, good. Okay, so, living with hallucinations is a broad topic that I'm being ambitious by trying to cram into 15-20 minutes of episode. And I've lived with both extremes of it. I try not to talk about anything here on Mental Health Thursdays that I haven't personally experienced, or at least secondarily. Hey, Ricardo, welcome. Or at least secondarily experienced, second-handedly experienced. But I've got me some experience under the old belt, so I've got a range of stuff I can talk about. If you want to give feedback on what I should talk about here on Mental Health Thursdays, you can become a patron for as little as $1 a month. Speaking of which, right out the gate, a little too late for right out the gate, but I've certainly got to thank my amazing patrons in order of appearance. As you see on your scroller here, Paul Camish, and Brainbug, and Linda, and Kim, and Santy, and Math Pig. The library patronage groweth, it doeth. It's fantastic, and I love it, and I appreciate all of you so very much. Thank you, my friends, for everything you do to help us improve here in the library. Okay. We'll start off with the rough stuff, and then we'll ease into the current stuff. That sounded weird coming out of my face. Okay, we're talking about hallucinations. I did experience a fairly severe psychotic episode when I was in college. And and a fairly lengthy one at that. And one of the things that came with that was a severe round of hallucinations. Severe to the extent that I didn't always necessarily know whether or not I was experiencing real life at any given time. And I'll talk about that more in a devoted episode at some point. It just didn't get the votes this week that Hallucinations did. Hallucinations are fun, y'all. He said with the deepest sarcasm. God damn, Math Pig, that is a bargain. Holy shit. We need whatever store that is over here on this side of the pond. Okay. Let me start with the groundwork real quick. Hallucinations, technically speaking, aren't necessarily seeing things. You can have visual hallucinations, and those do count. There's also such thing as auditory hallucinations. That's when you hear shit. There's olfactory hallucinations. That's when you smell shit. There's tactile hallucinations. That's when you feel shit. And there's probably other kinds that are falling off the old brain wagon right now. But essentially and shortly and briefly, to experience an hallucination is to experience some mode of sensory input that is not, in fact, that does not match up with what is occurring in reality. And I've had most of those, most of the forms of those. I've run the gamut. I've heard voices. I've seen shit that ain't there. I've felt things that didn't exist. Old Junk Shop used to be a mess, y'all. And not the entertaining mess that you see before you today. Used to be a heck of a mess. And thanks to an amazingly supportive peer network and some fantastic doctors and the miracles of modern pharmacology, Old Junk Shop is much less of a mess than Old Junk Shop used to be. Notifications out of my way. I can't see the chat when you do that. Okay. But the topic was not Junk Shop rants about defining definitions. The topic was living with hallucinations. Let me tell you, as somebody who's done it firsthand, and who continues to, it's no fucking fun. Not being able to trust your senses is no fucking fun. Most of us know by this point in our lives that you can't necessarily trust your brain at any given time. We know that we fill in our peripheral vision just sort of through the power of brain magic. We know that our memories are faulty and inclined to be filled in with random shit. We know that the human brain is a fantastically fallible mechanism. But those are just the things that everybody gets or has to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Hallucinations is a whole new box of fish. Hallucinations is over and above that which we normally deal with. We, meaning humanity and the way the human brain works and interacts with the world. Most of my experience is with visual hallucinations. It's with seeing shit that ain't there. I still struggle with that to a minor extent to this day. I kind of like this setup that I've got right here, right now, because if I suddenly go, I can remind y'all that there's the big noisy fish tank that you hear over here. And it's fishes moving in my periphery. And that's what I'm looking at. If you ever see me do this business, that's me hallucinating, y'all. I see little weird moving stuff out of the corner of my eye. I call them ceiling rats, because that's kind of what it looks like. It looks like a cross between a bat and a rat moving out of the top corner of my vision, moving across the ceiling. So if I do this number, it's just reflexive. I can't stop myself from checking. 15 years it's been going on, and I still can't stop myself from checking, because by God, it looks real. Blurring, quick, out of the corner of the eye, but real. Because we're accustomed to assuming that what we see is actually there. And that's just not the case for all of us. I don't talk about this much, for obvious reasons. Nobody wants to be known as the crazy guy. But if I'm doing a series called Mental Health Thursdays, and if my plan and my effort is to... Oh, that's so much smoother in my head. There we go. If my plan and my effort is to end the stigma... Hey, Mama Atheist, welcome. Always good to see you. Then I've got to speak out. And I've got to talk about what I have experienced and how it has affected my life. Hey, Rainbug! We'll all be joining you over on your channel in a couple hours. We've been looking forward to it here in the library. You got some fun coming your way in the hive, don't you? It's incumbent upon me to speak out about what I've experienced and what I continue to experience, and to talk about it in a no... Which way does it go? It goes this way. In a no stigma having manner. There's a common misconception about folk who experience hallucinations that the most common form of hallucinations is voices that tell you to do bad shit. Pardon me. That does happen. Not to me, thankfully. There are people who experience that, but they are to be, for lack of a better phrasing, pitied and assisted rather than feared. 90 some odd percent of the time. Now, don't get me wrong, I've heard voices, and I've heard voices tell me to do stuff. But it was never, go buy a chainsaw and attack the local nursing home. The kind of thing you see in movies. Santi, hello, my friend. I didn't see you sneak in there. It's my incredible chat lag of doom. Grumpy old dude is in the house. Ed, hello. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you, as always. We're talking about hallucinations. My voice just broke there a little bit. Hallucinations. What was I talking about? Oh, hearing voices. There's a misconception that that's the most common thing, and that they're always, or at least mostly, necessarily telling you to do bad and or violent stuff. And that's just not the case. At least according to what I've read in the literature, and yes, I mean in the literature with capital letters. The most common forms of hallucination are actually olfactory, smelling weird stuff. Most often, putrefaction, rot, or excrement, shit. I've had those too, both of them. It's violently unpleasant. I don't recommend. 0.5 stars. Would not recommend. Amber Schofield in the house. Welcome. Mark Caesar says he was living in a block of units where a guy had that problem and would be shouting at imaginary things. Very disturbing. Yes. It's very disturbing from the outside. It's even more disturbing from the inside. When I was at my worst, living with hallucinations, as the topic goes, I was never completely sure if I was experiencing a hallucination or real life. As a result of which I would go days without sleep, because I had no way of knowing if I was living through a day that was actually real, or living through a day that I was manufacturing in my brain. Usually, like I said, this was in college, so usually the only clear hint that I had is if I walked out of class and walked out of the building, if it was night, that meant I'd hallucinated the class period and there was no telling what my notes looked like. And I'm seeing myself glitch a little bit. Math Pig says, I'm in Ireland. I smell shit most days this time of year because it's slurry season. Oh, damn. I am so sorry, my friend. That's terrible. And that's a rough way to live. Literally not knowing if what you're seeing, hearing, living through is factual or not. That takes a toll on one. The ceiling rats is one thing. I glance up, I see a bare ceiling, everything's fine, and I know it was just another one of those clicks out of the corner of my eye that when I'm engaged in high, distracted while small blessings, yes? Alright, so that's what it's like, for me at least, to live with hallucinations. Again, topic voted on by my fantabulous patrons. If you'd like to vote on next week's topic, head over to patreon.com/junkshoplibrary. For as little as $1 a month, you too can decide what old Junk Shop gets to ramble about for anywhere between 20 minutes and however long the computer holds out. Oh, Lord. Mark Caesar drives an Uber, hopes never to smell shit. No kidding. That's terrible. All right. We got questions, comments. We've got a couple more minutes that I can go. I encourage everybody to go over to the Rage channel after we finish here. Knox got stuff to say, and we should listen, because Knox may be angry, but he's usually right. Junk Shop says if I go to Icon for 5 minutes, it will go easy on my computer. Interesting. Okay, I'll give it a shot. Tired of looking at my face anyway. All right, so we got closing thoughts. We got questions, comments, allegations, disputations, remunerations, recuperations. Math Pig says I don't talk about my mental health. People wouldn't like me after. You know, that's the way. And not to tell you your business and not to tell you how to live your life, obviously, because I don't know you and I don't know your life. But that's how I lived my life for a long time. And then I encountered and became involved with the mental health community on Twitter and to a lesser extent YouTube, and embraced the End the Stigma movement. And I've lost some friends and acquaintances because of my openness about it. But obviously those were not real, for sure, true friends or acquaintances I had any need to hang on to. If they were willing to. I'm talking very earnestly into the camera here, despite the fact that the camera's off. All right. Yeah. The End the Stigma hashtag and the thought process behind it has become increasingly important to me as time goes. And thank you for everybody who's throwing that up in the chat. That's much appreciated. Sandy, the video is gone because MathPig suggested it might be draining my computer, so I just switched to my icon there. Quick commercial for a friend of mine who drew that amazing avatar for me, and that's the work of Faye the Most Gracious. Mr. Shadow Kitty, hello! Just in time for the end. I'm sorry about the notifications, y'all. You know it's just YouTube in life. Faye the Most Gracious, or who used to be Faye the Most Gracious before she got suspended from that account on Twitter for calling a fictitious being a rude name. But if you want to check out her artwork, she's over on, what's the one where we share art? Instagram, under Anger Spread Thin. And she's back on Twitter under the username Wrought in Fire. She's an ex-Muslim content creator, very open, very angry, and very, very delightful. MathPig, understood. Mark Caesar says, it's a real epiphany to realize we all have issues to some extent. Those we see who appear perfect are just showing us that side of themselves. I could not agree. I'm going to go ahead and throw that up there. Maybe it'll show up in the thumbnail if I leave it up there for a second. Good. Oh, Dave, thank you so much. Wow, you're on the ball, as always. All right, well, it is the top of the hour. We've been going for a little under half an hour, and I want to see what Knox rage about tonight. So everybody go over and check out the Rage channel, and I hope to see you over there. thank you again so much to everybody who joined us. We got a nice sized crowd here to have gone live with absolutely no warning whatsoever tonight. If you just happen to cross me, by all means, make sure you've got your notifications on, because every once in a while a notification actually turns up. You never know when that might happen. Once in a blue moon under a starry sky. Thank you once again, as always, to my patrons. Paul Camish, to Brainbug, Linda, Kim, Santi, and Math Pig! Who make the ongoing